Hi everybody, David from Doctors of Running, and today we're going to be doing a comparison video between the New Balance 1080 version 14 and the New Balance Fresh Foam X More V5. They are both Fresh Foam X. I just dropped that from the V14 over here on the 1080. Both neutral, maximum cushion, premium daily training shoes that are on the New Balance line, but there are some key differences to look for. I do want to start off with specifications first. Now this one's a little bit odd. This is men's 9.5 for the 1080 version 14, but we're looking at 10.4 ounces in men's 9.5, 38 millimeters in the heel, 32 millimeters in the forefoot. That's a 6 millimeter drop. In grams, that's 300 grams. And then in women's size 8, we're looking at 8.3 ounces and 235 grams. This does use Fresh Foam X. They both do. That kind of softer, compliant, just really can absorb that load that you put into the shoe. Not the most bouncy, but it's a nice, just consistent, durable foam that you can get a lot of daily miles on. When we look at the New Balance Fresh Foam X More version 5, this shoe is a little bit heavier, and this is men's 9 on these specs. This is 11 ounces, 312 grams. And then we are looking at stack height 43 in the heel, 39 in the forefoot. That's a 4 millimeter drop, so a little bit less drop, a little bit higher up. Women's size 8, we're looking at 9.2 ounces and 260 grams. So on the surface, the shoes are pretty similar, but there are some key differences I want to note. The uppers, for the most part, are pretty similar, but we'll start off there. Both relatively plush uppers. The heel collar does have a decent amount of padding. There is a heel counter in both of these models. I think one key difference that I would point out from a fit standpoint, and this also translates into the ride a little bit as well, but you get a lot more of a bucket sensation, kind of more of a hold around your foot. So you'd say in the heel, midfoot, and forefoot in the More V5, there's just a lot more going on. It just really holds and kind of locks that heel in, and you sit with those higher sidewalls around you. So you get that kind of cradle effect. In the midfoot, they both have decently spacious midfoots. I would say that they would both accommodate most people that have wider foots. Forefoot, a little bit wider in the More V5, a little bit more normal, but still slightly wide in the New Balance 1080 V14. The rides are where you're going to notice a little bit more difference. The Fresh Foam X feels very similar amongst the two, but there's just a little bit more foam on the More V5. They both have gentle rocker platforms, no plate, but there's a lot of foam underfoot, and then that outsole pattern that they have gives you a little bit of stiffness as well. So you're going to have kind of a gradual rocker with a little bit of stiffness on both shoes, with a little bit more on the V5. Kind of like I said before, this shoe has a lot built around it on the More V5, so that's going to give you a little bit more resistance to medial and lateral movement. And then that kind of bucket sensation you get in the heel, you have those tall sidewalls on the lateral and medial aspects, so you get a little bit of guidance all the way through. So those that are looking for a little bit more of a structured experience, even though it's a little bit heavier coming in at 11 ounces, that's going to be accomplished in the More V5. And if you need a little bit of a wider toe box too, that is also a little bit wider in the More V5 as well. The 1080 V14 is going to give you more of that traditional neutral trainer experience. You have a little bit of gentle sole flaring, but there's not a whole lot there. Again, gentle sidewall, but not much. This is going to be more your traditional neutral, gently rockered experience with a good amount of cushioning underfoot too. Being at 38, especially with the Fresh Foam X, that is a decently compliant foam. But there's a decent amount of outsole coverage there too that kind of firms that up a little bit too. So you still get some ground feel. I would even argue in both of these, like they both feel pretty secure on foot, and they both can log miles until the cows come home. So both really solid options. If you want something a little bit more structured, you got the More V5. You want something a little bit more traditional, you got the 1080 V14. And that's our head-to-head between the New Balance 1080 version 14 and the New Balance More version 5.